Right now, life may still feel uncertain, some prayers remain unanswered, some situations still confuse you, and part of you feels tired from carrying so much emotionally, but deep inside, you can sense something shifting, something ending, something new approaching quietly, and that feeling is not random. Jesus is saying, "My child, you are entering a season where everything changes. Not just small changes, life-changing changes, changes in your mindset, changes in your relationships, changes in your peace, changes in your direction, because the person you were before cannot fully step into the future I prepared for you," Jesus says, "My child." Transformation always begins internally first. That is why lately, you feel different, more aware, more emotionally tired of old cycles, more protective of your peace. Things that once entertained you, now drain you. People who once felt important, no longer feel aligned with your spirit, because your soul recognizes that your season is changing. Jesus is saying, "My child." Growth will make old environments feel uncomfortable. At this stage, you may notice certain relationships fading naturally, certain habits becoming harder to tolerate, certain doors closing unexpectedly, and while part of you feels emotional about these endings, another part of you feels relieved, because deep down, you know you cannot carry your old life into your new season. Jesus says, "My child, not everything can follow you where I'm taking you. The waiting season taught you patience, the painful season taught you strength, the lonely season taught you discernment. And now, the breakthrough season is preparing to teach you abundance, peace, confidence, alignment." Jesus is saying, "My child, your suffering was preparation, not punishment. Because while you thought life was falling apart, I was rebuilding you quietly, healing your heart, strengthening your mind, teaching you how to stop settling for less than you deserve, and soon, you will notice things moving differently, doors opening naturally, healthier people entering your life, unexpected opportunities appearing, peace replacing confusion, confidence replacing fear, and clarity replacing overthinking." Jesus says, "My child, the next chapter of your life will not look like the last one. So stop fearing change now, stop mourning every ending, stop trying to return to seasons you already outgrew emotionally, because what is ahead of you will align with your healing, your purpose, your growth, and the stronger version of yourself that survived every difficult season." Jesus is saying, "My child, trust the transition, everything is about to change. If you believe God is preparing a completely new season for your life, type Amen and step forward with faith. Now, something inside you feels different, not perfect, not completely healed yet, but different. Jesus is saying, "My child." New seasons often begin quietly, before they become visible publicly. One of the first signs is this: you no longer feel comfortable living the way you used to live. Old habits feel heavy, old mindsets feel limiting, old environments feel emotionally exhausting, because your spirit recognizes that you are growing beyond your previous season. Jesus says, "My child." Growth changes what feels acceptable to your soul. Another sign: you begin craving peace more than attention, you stop chasing validation constantly, you stop forcing conversations. You stop trying to convince people to appreciate your worth, and slowly, you become more protective of your energy, more selective about who has access to your spirit, because healing teaches discernment. Jesus is saying, "My child." Emotional maturity changes your priorities. Another sign: you start feeling disconnected from people and places you once depended on. Certain relationships lose their emotional hold on you, certain conversations no longer excite you, certain behaviors begin feeling draining instead of comforting, because you are outgrowing old patterns, and outgrowing your old life is part of entering your new season. Jesus says, "My child." Not everyone can follow you into your next chapter. At this stage, you may spend more time alone, reflecting more deeply, protecting your peace more carefully, and although loneliness may try to discourage you, this isolation is preparation, because I am strengthening your spirit privately, before elevating your life publicly. Jesus is saying, my child. Separation often happens before transformation. You may also notice this: unexpected opportunities begin appearing slowly, new ideas enter your mind, new desires begin growing inside you, and things that once felt impossible start feeling achievable again, because hope is returning to your spirit. Jesus says, my child. When hope returns, breakthrough is usually near. And perhaps the biggest sign of all, you are no longer willing to betray yourself for temporary acceptance. You stop lowering your standards to avoid loneliness. You stop tolerating emotional disrespect just to keep people close. You finally begin choosing peace over chaos, healing over attachment, purpose over distraction. Jesus is saying, my child. Your new season begins when you finally understand your value. Soon, the changes happening inside you will begin appearing outside you too: new doors, new people, new opportunities, new peace, and the version of yourself you prayed to become will finally feel real. Jesus says, my child. Trust what is shifting inside you. Your new season has already started. If you feel your new season beginning, type Amen and continue walking forward with faith. Now, the changes around you become more noticeable. Some relationships begin fading unexpectedly, certain plans stop working, certain doors close without warning, and part of you feels confused, because you prayed for breakthrough, yet it feels like things are being taken away. But listen carefully, Jesus is saying, my child. Before I bring new blessings, I remove what no longer belongs in your future. Because not everything connected to your old season can follow you into the new one. Some relationships were emotionally draining you, some habits were limiting your growth, some environments were keeping you stuck in cycles you were meant to outgrow, and if I allowed those things to remain, they would interfere with your peace, your healing, your purpose. Jesus says, my child. Removal is often an act of protection. At first, this process feels painful, because endings always create emotion. You may feel rejected, forgotten, even abandoned sometimes, but what you call rejection, God often calls redirection. What you call loss, God often calls preparation. Jesus is saying, my child. Stop mourning what I removed, to protect your next season. Because some people could only walk with you temporarily. Some doors were lessons, not permanent destinations, and some delays happened because I was teaching you discernment before giving you greater responsibility. Jesus says, my child. Timing protects blessings from becoming burdens. At this stage, you may feel emotionally stretched, lonely at times, uncertain about the future, but do not mistake transition for failure. You are not being destroyed, you are being transformed, prepared, refined, strengthened for what is ahead. Jesus is saying, my child. Your next season requires a stronger version of you. That is why your mindset is changing now, your standards are changing, your priorities are changing, the things you tolerate are changing. Because healing changes your spirit deeply, soon, you will understand why certain relationships ended, why certain plans collapsed, why certain opportunities disappeared, because what is coming next will align with your peace instead of your pain, your purpose instead of your confusion, your growth instead of your survival. Jesus says, my child. Release what is leaving, your new season needs room to enter. If you trust that God is removing what no longer belongs in your life, type Amen and continue trusting His process.